All right, hello and good morning, everyone. It's time for the first match of the day coming out of North America for the final week of round-robin play for the North American Challenger Cup. I'm Zayden, joined once again by the one, the only Ranconius from all the way down under on the other side of the world, who it's even, like, what time of the night is it for? I don't even know. It's some absurdly late hour. Yeah. Crazy time-traveling Australians. I guess we have to have some sort of fancy technology to deal with all those venomous kangaroos and koalas and things you have down there.
It's officially Sunday, so, sorry, but I'm out of here. It's Sunday. I'm going. I'm off to have my Sunday off. No? Goodbye.
Well, you don't get Sundays off. We have the Challenger Cup. And Sunday is EU. Today is Saturday because this is NA. Silly Australians and your dates. Whatever.
Hey.
Picks and bands, guys. Coming up on
You can
screen.
give me a break. I have 2 Challenger Cups that both start on Sunday for me, so, you know, fun.
Yeah, I could. I just choose not to give you a break on the matter.
Anyway, picks and bands in front of Shabalonke ban coming through. That's against Nonton.
Yeah.
Hi Five love to run the Sylvanus Shabalonke lane, and banning away Shabalonke means that they get themselves a Sylvanus, and Hi Five have got to go for something else on that Hunter roll.
Yeah, we'll see what they look to lock in, and it is looking to be a very quick pickup on Apollo, or maybe not quick, they've been sitting there thinking about it for a little while, but before that timer finish comes then was Apollo picking up Thor as well. For a good while, we hadn't seen Thor getting kind of first pick or high priority for a lot of these teams, but last just a week or two, definitely been the case where a lot of teams are starting to shift their focus back towards him.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that. That's probably to do with some leading into the next patch, where AoE jungle clearers are going to be a lot stronger. We're going to see a lot of Hunbats, probably a little bit less Sakat and things like that, but Thor is going to be #1 undisputed jungle clearer. He can farm, he can lane presence, he's got a bunch of options to really do what he wants. But this is this patch, he's still decent. He's, you know, not as much of a priority pick as I think he's going to be on the next patch, but the ability to engage with that ultimate, that is second to none.
Well, Yomi went ahead and locked in Poseidon for the mid lane. Medusa as well. What is looking to be their hunter to lock in and secure, or finish off rather, their dual lane matchup. So looking at the combo right now, Apollo early on, the wave clear not necessarily going to be there. There's some pickups they can still look for to kind of help with that a little bit, but Sylvanus Medusa is probably going to be one of the worst matchups to be up against Apollo. Acid Spray, even with the lack of mana starting out early on, is still very effective wave clear. Never mind that Sylvanus pickup. Best support in the game, realistically speaking, as far as assisting your AD carry with clearing those waves early on.
Yeah, the only thing better than a Sylvanus to run with the Medusa is the major look lane. We all know how brutal that can be, but it was banned out. So, Sylvanus Medusa, there's not a lot of ability to really punish that early on, and the only thing that they can look for from the side of Hi Five is to catch the Sylvanus. That's his weakness, right? That's his crutch that you gotta focus on.
Look at that other pick they just made.
As in the Odin or the Scylla ban?
No, the Odin. You said talking about
Odin?
catching that Sylvanus. A very large ring of spears against a very immobile Sylvanus will do exactly that. So they're gonna have to be careful. They have to watch out for that. Sylvanus gets stuck in the middle of that ring of spears, especially early on, will likely be dead. And given the fact that ring of spears is on an absurdly short cooldown, that could mean quite a little bit of disaster. And then look at the rest of the team as well. Poseidon can't get out of it. Medusa can't get out of it. So Yomi, right now at least, Odin we don't typically see picked up until much later on, as a third pick against his team comp, should work out reasonably well at least.
The problem now for Yomi is, what are they going to pick up for their solo laner here? Because they can't run anything with major sustain. Hercules is off the table, out of the question. Kuang, however, Kuang can be run on the jungle, but more likely on the solo lanes, provide some decent clear, and his tower pushing pressure is just insane. But I really, really like this combo between Fenrir and Kuang. When they hit level 5, their pressure is insane.
Kuang will be really interesting. We saw it run the other day in the SPL with a Polynomicon getting picked up with Stormcall. Stormcall counts as an in-hand attack on its own, so you not only fire it off, you're going to throw in those little dragons from Kuang's 2, you're also going to hit that Polynomicon and proc it at the same exact time, so Stormcall on Kuang can be just absurd as well. That said, even if he doesn't go for that Polynomicon, he's still a very, very strong god early on. The ganks coming out of him are just so strong, and that's without him really getting in line. He has to be careful early on. If he gets picked up with that low amount of health that he has, one of, if not the lowest health gods in Smite. So he has his own vulnerabilities, but he has a pretty good kit to work around that.
He's into a Thor. You made a very, very good point about that health bar. He's into a Thor. That's a problem. He's into an Odin. That's a problem. If that is... I'm going to say that's a solo back who can deal with our Kuang quite well because, you know, he can trade exceptionally well. That's the benefit of picking up a Sobek. I'm going to say that El Chapu is going to be running that one in the solo. It's just a really, really strong lane. And Nuwa as well, even though she doesn't do as much damage early on, it's an Ao Kuang. It's an Ao Kuang. Her pick just becomes so much more viable by picking an Ao Kuang.
Yep. As I also, we didn't mention it all so far, both of these teams are running with a couple of substitutes, guys. Bulcher not here for Hi Five today, and a pair of roster swaps coming out for Yomi as well, so not full rosters going to this week. That said, both these teams are actually through to the grand finals already. Lunatic Esports apparently disbanded prior to this week, and KOS Esports unfortunately was not able to find a mid laner who was available to play for them, so they were unfortunately forfeiting for the day as well. That does mean both these teams are locked in to the top 2 for Group A. It just comes down to seeding right now going into next week. Who are they possibly going to be up against? They kind of don't have an option right now. I mean, it's down to who finishes where in Group B, who doesn't play until after these guys. But getting that first seed is still going to be a little bit more important because you're going to be playing off against who will be the lower ranking person coming out, lower ranking team, I should say, coming out of Group B.
And I would say that that's not going to be COG Crusaders, right? You do not want to be finishing second and playing up against the ever-consistent COG Crusaders. Resist, Torch, Noble, I mean, they're all a lot less consistent than what COG Crusaders are. It takes a lot to see a rare oddball off game from the COG Crusaders, but Resist, Torch, Noble, you can get those. And across a series of a best of 5, that's the telling point, right? The more consistent teams are going to play better across an entire series. That's what you're looking at, right? COG Crusaders, consistency in a best of 5, that is key more than anything. Look at the last year's World Championships. Consistency broke down a little bit over games 3 and 4 due to an Ares pick being huge for Titan up against COG Prime, COG Red. My memory's just out the window at the moment. But, you know, and then they had to come back in that game 5. That is such a tough thing to do, that if one team ever goes 2 and then loses the next 2 games, it is more than likely, it is so hard to go from 2-0 to 2-2 and win that final game. That's the telling point, right? Is the consistency and the ability of these teams to vary up their drops from game 1 to game 2, and then, right, go, okay, game 3, we haven't got a game plan for this one. What have they been playing the last couple? What do we ban this time around? Smart drafting game 3 and 4 is what wins you a series.
Indeed. That said, guys, we're going to get a quick little break while we wait for this game to actually start and get underway. We're back here in just a minute or two, as soon as it's available. Alright guys, welcome back. Hi Five facing off against Yomi in this first match of the day out of Group A, and actually for that matter, it's the only group out of match, or it's the only match out of Group B. A, letters, numbers, groups,
A.
Games, matches, groups.
Let's not start with the math.
Brackets, tournaments, group stage, round robins, things, and stuff. Indeed. Indeed.
Let's not get you started on numbers and things.
Let's try this again.
And placements.
Try this again. I think I'm ready this time. It's Yomi facing off against Hi Five out of Group A. First match of the day, first game of the day as well. Possibly the only match of the day out of Group A. I think I got it right that time.
Possibly. It's 100% confirmed the only match out of Group A.
No.
In the round robin phase,
we could
right?
possibly have a tiebreaker.
That's a tiebreaker match. That's not in the group phase. That's a tiebreaker.
It's the extension of the group phase. It'll be a Group A tiebreaker, so technically still part of that group.
Alright, yes. So for us to get to that standpoint, though, what has to happen is Hi Five have to beat Yomi here, because Hi Five lost to Yomi last week around. Something that I don't think either of us were really expecting to happen, although these teams are actually quite similar level. It's just that Hi Five are a little bit more consistent than we have seen Yomi be. They didn't adjust to the time scale of being up. That's what they were putting it down to at the end of last week. So, you know, time zones could be affecting, especially this being the first competitive match of the day. That could be a problem for these two guys as well. Like, this is the first time that they've actually played off in their group for the day. Normally they get, you know, 2 warm-up games in before they'd face off against each other. So, anyway, take us down Yomi's roster. Yeah,
taking a look at Yomi, might actually have a chance as a bit of an early rotation comes out from Grishank. He's heading over to the mid lane as well as everybody else for the moment. So double mid laners, or double junglers in the mid lane right now, making another rotation. Let's run through the roster now that we have a bit of a chance. It's going to be Gilly in the soul lane as Fenrir, Mytheria in the jungle as Kuang unrelinquished. In the mid lane as Poseidon, Met Yankee as the support, Sylvanus, finally Vesalius. Close enough as the hunter Medusa.
On the right side of things in the order, sorry, the chaos side of the matchup, it is going to be the team of Hi Five. Ultrapu is going to be on the solo Sobek, Grishank in the jungle on the Thor in mid lane. We have the substitute for this week filling in for Bolter. It's Kosher Bacon on the Noir. In Guardian role, it's going to be Elbow Chacho on the Odin, and finally rounding us out, Gonton on the Apollo.
A little back and forth going on in that soul lane for the time being. Ultrapu doesn't really have too much to be worried about against the Fenrir. There's a little bit of kill potential, especially that Gilly has a slight level lead right now. Back Harpy steal attempt coming up from Mytheria, not quite able to find it. Thus, speaking of kill potential, a Sylvanus grab can always spell a very unfortunate situation for anybody on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, and that's against the runner, how that matchup kind of should have gone. Vesalius has obviously got better poke, and the sustain out of Met Yankee is so much stronger. So that's you know, why we're seeing the kill potential coming from those guys. Shield should have been up at least for him, so Raven Shout is level 2. So he does have the potential to engage and definitely be higher off with that shield.
Solo lane, the gank attempt was being looked for by Grishank, but he showed up just in time to see Gilly hit level 5, grab Elchapu in those jaws with the Ragnarok, drag him under the tower, and find a kill. So right now, at least early in that's first and second blood going the way of Yomi. Hi Five, rough early on, but look at the team comp. They don't really necessarily have an early game comp to begin with.
Yeah, no, Apollo later on, Kosher Bacon on the Noir is going to be later on as well. That ultimate does a significant amount of damage and gets her out of the fight. Grishank, Thor's damage, you know, it's not to be underrated later on, but the burst from Unrelinquished, that's, if he gets a kill here in this next couple of minutes, around this level 5 point, that's the thing to keep your eyes on, because if he can get that online and start the snowball that we all expect from a Poseidon, it's a rough, slippery slope to get back into this game.
Mid lane, Breath Terror, Kraken coming in as well. Nua up in the fire shards, dropping those down. Buying a little time, they grab from Met Yankee, not quite going to connect. Kosher Banging will survive that attempt on his life. We'll hang around, throw some metal shards down to clear out a few more minions before finally heading back to base. Right lane!
Oh!
That was a dive coming out from El Chapu that just did not end well.
That's the second time that he's been dragged underneath that tower.
That wasn't even dragged. He went under that tower.
Yeah, I know.
Ragnarok is coming up right now.
It's without the ultimate? And El Chapu, he had to have burned his. I'm sure as anything he burned lurking in the waters to try and get that kill. And Gilly still survives without an ultimate? That's rough. That's rough.
Yep, it's going to be a 2-level...
He needs to go on farm phase.
It's going to be a 2-level advantage for him in lane for a good little while. Fenrir as well, early on. He's going to have a much more team potential coming out of him. Yes, indeed. Words and grammar and all that stuff. It's early. It's before noon. I'm not sure why we're up yet. It's, I don't know. Whatever. I'll wake up at some point, in theory at least. So yeah, the soul lane, Gilly has a strong advantage right now. Word tab I completed. Elchapu rather, still only on that mark of the Vanguard, which, as we've seen so far, not working out too effectively for the moment at least.
Oh, not all that well, and he's been forced to go in towards the improved teleport as well, just to make sure that he can stay safe in that lane, base off, get the cooldown on it as he comes back in. He's actually going to get grabbed up by Gilly once again. Gilly wants to fight him. Can he bring out the solo kill? It's going to be Gilly that starts to eat it, so his ultimate is down, and Ultrapu's, it's up in 5 seconds. I think Gilly wants to bait him under that tower again. Both
junglers heading over to this right lane right now as well. Thor, Grishank hanging out in that Fire Giant pit as those Thors oh so love to do. Mytheria, on the other hand, there's actually Thor up in the air. They could look for a steal temper here. They know Gilly's low in health. Gonna catch him midway to the camp. Tectonic Rift comes down as well for the stun. Berserker Barrage doing work, but the hammer's down. Fire Shards about to say hello and does exactly that, but not having enough damage to find a kill.
But now it's Mytheria that's in trouble, lurking in the waters. Was down for Ultrapu. He will manage to get underneath that tier 2 tower and be totally safe. Wow. Lucky to get out of there with his life is Gilly.
Yep, they're gonna look for and probably find the speed both all three members of Hi Five safely escaping from the jungle. Hi Five, we're 5 minutes 30 seconds in this one right now, yet to put a kill on the board. They've been looking for them, just has not worked out too well. We'll have the mid Harpies respawning in just about a minute. We might see a fight over those, but I don't know. Yomi have a little bit of a lead right now. They may look to make use of that and look for a fight at those next Harpies.
Yeah, Yomi, I mean, you mentioned it, lead. Poseidon's online. He's got no assists yet, but he has been able to control that lane. He's up by about 60, 70, 80 gold. Not very much, but just enough. Level 8. He's got a lot of kill potential right now, but no level 2 of the Kraken. He needs to get level 2 online of the Kraken, I think, before they can really look to burst down anyone.
Yeah. I mean, just level-wise, they have an advantage almost across the board right now. Left side camps, going to go to Yomi, Hi Five taking the right side, so no real fights coming out. Alberchacho's fights coming out in the middle of the map, at least. Right side, Gilly still very much in control of that soul lane, found himself another kill. Wrath of Terror dropped mid lane, looking to find a kill finally, or again, rather, for Yomi. That's gonna be a very, very dead Poseidon throwing that Kraken out just for the style points. Not really needed to secure that one in that particular instance.
Yeah, Meteria still had the ultimate up as well. He was looking to save that one until they started to get away. Ensure that execute come through. That's just smart play. That's what you expect, right? Let's talk about the itemization coming through from the Hunters, who opted into the 2 different build paths.
Yeah, Transcendence Rush coming out from Vesalius. Not on the other hand, Devourer's Gauntlets, Death's Toll start. It's a little bit of a better start coming out for Apollo. He gets more mana coming overall because he's attacking quite a bit with his in-hands. The problem's going to be the fact that Medusa, with that big wave clear, as the kill comes out mid lane, the fight's still on. Odin Ring of Spears was dropped down, but not really going to be able to find another kill. Hi Five finally, however, put a kill on the board of on their side of the board, I should say.
Yeah, but check out this solo lane once again. Gilly is just brutalizing El Jabu. He might finally get a good trade back. He's actually going to start going low. Gilly might go all the way in towards this one. Loki in the waters is burst for the slow. And El Jabu is going to be forced underneath that tower. He's got nothing left. He's got a base once again, and Shielded Teleport is on a 70-second cooldown. That's why you see Thor immediately coming this way. Grishank is going to spend a lot of time trying to get El Jabu back into this game.
Let's see if they can do it. They're going to go straight on in for this one. Berserker Barrage cleared some minions. They're going to look for the kill. Gilly plucked back on the tower with that charge prey. Going to use the Brutalize for a quick hop out. Gilly now in spot trouble. Hold on for 7 seconds. Could leap over a wall potentially to safety, but Grishank will have the hammer teleport to follow up, but his mana bar is low. Won't have that crowd control. There's the hammer. There's the Unchained to match. Gilly going to survive yet another gank attempt on his life.
He's 3-0 as well, so he is huge. He's just going to be a huge threat, assassination threat, but it's going to be Gold Fury that started up here by Yomi. They're looking to secure the first one. Chacho spots it out. Whether he looks to engage will be another story. Here it comes.
Ring of Spears down as well. Right now, if they can find Met Yang, it's going to be a big victory, but the Wrath of Terror, where am I on about? The Poseidon Kraken comes out. My theory cleans up the Stormcall. The Dragon coming out as well. Nanton is about to die if this connects. Gonna miss. One ability will secure the kill. Good Serenade. Good wall from Grishank coming out to save his life. They'll live, but once again, Gold Fury started up.
Yeah, and this one will be secured as well by Yomi. They may not have any lifesteal, but they've got 3 members to split tank it between, and that's more than enough to secure that first one. Look at the gold advantage. It's already starting to build up at 9 minutes with 3k on both the gold and XP bars. They've got to be really, really careful from the side of Hi Five for the meantime, but their comp, they are so tanky later on with both the Odin and the Sobek. And then the damage that comes through from the new Thor and Apollo is so good late game.
First tower not quite gonna fall as the archer minions not quite pulling their own weight and leaving it with just a tiny, tiny little bit of health. Yeah, the fact that Grishank may have been there killing them one by one may have been a small factor in that matter, but nevertheless, that tower mid, very, very close to death. It will be brought down at some point in the near future, I'd imagine, by Yomi. Just like, oh, there's nobody here, let's go ahead and kill it. Invade. Hi Five looking to steal by the attack speed buff. They're going to find already picked up. But now can they find a kill? There's the bird bomb coming in from Chacho. Ring of Spears drops that down. Not going to need it. My theory falls to the other remaining members of Hi Five.
That's a really, really nice Roman pickup coming through as well. And now they're going to have the major pressure. Mid camp's obviously being down means immediate pressure on towards this mid tower. But this is Gilly. He's level 12. He might look for something unless they go for a red buff steal. This is a really good call from Hi Five.
This is kind of what Hi Five needs to do right now. They're not that far behind. Gilly gonna find Ragnarok, Elchbu and the Ragnarok, not able to get too far away over, leaping just barely over that wall and to get out safely. Unrelinquished finds 2 kills. Now they're looking to clean up house. Kosher Bacon not gonna get that one alive either.
Oh!
Hi Five were doing what they needed to do in that engagement. They're trying to group up, trying to find picks, trying to find steals, trying to find a way back into this game. Unfortunately, look at the damage, look at the team comp that Yomi have already. they have early game burst damage coming out. You have the Poseidon Kraken, you have the Wrath of Terror coming out, you have the Petrify coming out from Medusa as well as the Acid Spray. There's a lot of AoE damage. Hi Five, it's kind of they need to pick one person off at a time, and Yomi are just kind of not giving them those chances.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the perfect comp with the Odin to really just grab that one person and say, hey, you're going absolutely nowhere, let's focus on you, kill you off, and then let's continue with the rest of the fight. But they haven't been able to do so. Yomi are just not providing the opportunities for them to do that. There are only 2 kills on the board from Hi Five, but look at the composition they have. Apollo's damage is so much stronger than Medusa's later on. Medusa's all about getting that ultimate, getting a really, really nice setup for that. Nuwa, she's able to put out a lot of damage with those soldiers as well. You know, She can save the shining metal explosion on towards them. She doesn't need to explode them because they do a lot of damage. And especially when they're locked in with an Odin, right? Odin grabs somebody, locks them in with that Ring of Spears. There's a lot of damage that can go down.
Yep. Looking for a pick, possibly left-hand side. Hi Five once again going to be forced back to the other side of the jungle. El Brachacho waiting nearby to catch Met Yankee. Yeah, he's going to throw a little bit of in-hands at him. Ring of Spears drops as well. They might electrocute him here. But the damage coming onto him, he's in a bit of a bad spot. Raven Shout used to absorb some damage. He's going to be removing that shield. Grishank drops on down as well. Vasileus finds the first kill of the fight, regardless of the numbers in this engagement. Up in the air with that little bit of a knockup from the King of the Eastern Seas. My theory, not finding to execute, will fall back down to his death. So Hi Five go 1 for 1. It's an even trade, slightly in their favor as the Fire Charge drops down to check vision on people. They're not quite going to find any kills on that, but Yomi definitely commanding lead at 12 minutes.
Grishank's not done. Grishank's not done in any means. He's still looking to fight this one out, but he's been snared. There's 3 members running towards him. Nonton's on the backside. Oh, he gets out of the crack, and the Whirlpool did miss, obviously, so there was nothing locking him in place. Now they can look to turn this back around with Nonton. Grishank, he really wants to go in for this one. This is such aggressive play for such a bad position on gold, and it's good in a sense. Grishank didn't secure that kill in the last fight on towards Vasileus because they were behind, because he didn't have the items, because he didn't have the levels that he needed to be able to secure that. They'll take mid camps as they're just desserts, but that's all they're really getting at this stage in the game.
They lost a tower in that fight as well. Gilly was not there for any of that. He was just over in that right lane split pushing. That's another 500 gold. The mid tower fell at some point as well. Not entirely sure when that occurred, but that's another 500 gold that was in the bank of Yomi. So they're sitting about a 5,000 gold lead right now. Look at those levels as well. Level 2 as high as, so it's just 1 level difference. Okay, there's the difference. 3 levels mid, 2 in the jungle. That's where the big experience difference is coming out right now for Yomi, with where they have that lead. Other than that, I mean, look at the items coming out from these guys. Well, it's about look at it. 2nd items completed more or less across the board. But it's those big key items that are making the difference. That's Sovereignty online on Sylvanus, the Heart Ward Amulet online on Fenrir. In a team fight, those little bit of extra protections, yeah, it's only 20. The way the protections work in Smite, 20 protection is actually a lot more percentage-wise. As a squishy hunter or mage who doesn't really get a lot to begin with, taking an extra 15 or 10 to 15% of damage off the top is a lot in a fight.
And having them online just after 10 minutes as well, that's so crucial. The focus is on towards Kosher Bacon, blink into the Ring of Spears. Elbow Charger is going to get unrelinquished focus off, and he's going to slam down and keep Kosher Bacon alive once again, but not long enough, unfortunately. Matt Yankee's going to grab 2, and now he's going to look for more, but Apollo's here. He's trying to turn this one back around. Unrelinquished might finally fall to Nonton, and he does so. The next focus is going to be Vasileus, but look at Jilly. He is just all over Nonton, and El Chapu's the only one to walk away.
Yep, so right now, looking like they're unstoppable. Yomi could potentially go for the Gold Fury. Not really much left on the map to stop them. El Chapu, Hand of the Gods versus Wrath of the Gods. At least at the moment, not going to be ending all that well. He's not even going to head over there still because he would likely just be giving them an extra kill on their own side of the board. So Yomi pick up the 2nd Gold Fury of the match, look ahead and get some farms. Attack speed buff potentially going to be stolen away, but going for the minis left lane instead. Tower could be pushed as well. Hi Five right now, but Hi Five, they're behind. They're trying to find the ways back into this one, but everything they're trying to get a hold of, it's just not working out.
Yeah, look at the gold difference in each role, right? Look at the 2 hunters. There's a 1,200 gold differential between them. That's huge. That's huge. This is exactly where Medusa really wants to be sitting at this phase of the game. If she's not about a K at about 20 minutes, she's going to start falling off pretty significantly. Thor needed to be in front. He's behind by 1,300. But look at the difference in the solo lane. A 5-0 and 3 Gilly will do that.
Yeah.
And look at the difference. Look at the only item. It's a Mid-Guardian... Sorry, not Mid-Guardian. No, it is Mid-Guardian male online. For El Chapu. That's all he's got. That's all he's got.
Elchbru's not doing bad in this lane. Look at how that lane has gone. He's at 5-0-3 Fenrir, 1-4-2 Sobek. He's just over a level behind right now. Gold-wise, it's about 1.6k. 600 of which is from those Gold Fury pickups. So it's a decent bit of, Elchbru is doing a good job of keeping himself in this game. El Brachacho, on the other hand, on the side of the map, Grishank gets picked off as well. Unrelinquished. Picks off El Brachacho. Kills coming out across the board right now as Yomi's looking to clean house. There's no Gold Fury up. Fire Giant, though. I could see them thinking about that here in the next minute or two if they could find yet even just one more pick.
Yeah, it could be El Chapu if they're not careful, but looking to initiate, looking to put some pressure down. But from the side of Hi Five as well, look at their items, especially on towards the support. They don't even have a sovereignty online right now. Their AoE protections are just not there. They can't fight. They need to find passive gold. They need to buy themselves some time to get back into this game because they are already 13k experience behind. Level 20s are going to come out in the next 5 minutes. They just need to wait for those to happen on the side of Yomi. Wait for their own XP to start coming up to match. Gold, 8k behind. That is huge. They need to just make sure that they don't lose a Fire Giant. Because if they lose a Fire Giant, this game is going to quickly follow it down the toilet.
Oh, there's a 5-man back coming out from Yomi right now. This is a very, very small window for Hi Five to actually go ahead and pick up some farm. Unfortunately, it is only going to be a pair of back Harpy cams on the map for them to actually take. The speed buff's about to spawn, as is the mana buff on the right-hand side of the map, but there's just nothing left for Hi Five to actually grab and take farm for. Yomi going back to base, picking up some wars, finishing off some items as well. They could force a fire at the Fire Giant or pick it up for free right now. That's the reality of this situation.
And it's getting tight. Look at Therius and the zoning he's trying to put on. El Chapu is just scared. He's coming in to try and get some ward control, and he's probably going to pay for it with his life. Lurking in the water's forced. That's an ultimate down. They can't use that now in the team fights for any control whatsoever. It's got a cooldown of 90 seconds that they've got to now wait for, but Jilly doesn't want to wait for that.
Yeah. He's very dead. Very, very dead. Ragnarok into a number of AoE abilities and in-hand abilities and single-target abilities. Usually spells, bad situations. It's going to be unrelinquished zoning out as Grishank heads up to the skies with the Anvil of Dawn looking to drop on down and stop this from occurring. They're going to back off, however, look for the fight instead. Mate Yankee secures El Brochacho, and that's the Wrath of the Gods down for Hi Five. Backside of the fight, Kraken does finally get dropped down as Nantan gets caught by the Petrify. Tried to beads out of it, but fell anyway. Kosher Bacon finds a kill onto Unrelinquished, but the fight is won by Yomi as they turn their attention back towards that Fire Giant. Grishank is still alive in the mid lane, but not much he can actually do to stop this.
No, there's absolutely nothing he can do to stop this. All he's got is pressure, and that Fire Giant, it's just gone. It's gone. Yomi have already got it, and he hasn't even put any damage down, and now he's looking to go towards Vesalius, and he just can't get anywhere near him from the side of Grishank. He's going to be forced to run the heck away. Man, Yankee's blicking for engage.
Not quite finding it. Silly Thor teleporting to a hammer. The hammer is supposed to come to him, I believe, is the lore, at least as far as comics are concerned. I don't know exactly how that works. Teleporting. It's almost like Yanis level silly. It's like, not actually going through the walls, just blinking to the other side of it directly. That's an active, that's not a hammer ability, Thor. Silly God, you. I don't know where I'm going with this one. It's early. I'm tired. Need a nap.
You know how he flies? He throws the hammer and he doesn't let go.
Yeah. How does he...
That's like...
When he throws the hammer, though, for the Results of Tumen, he lets go of it. And then suddenly appears next to it.
So instead of calling the hammer back to him, he calls himself to the hammer.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess that would be the explanation to go for on it.
That's
Vesalius!
Blink in. They're looking for him. I'm not sure that Nantan can really duel this one out, but they've rotated so many members in. They're going to burn through a Fire Giant, and that's the pressure Fire Giant as well. That's the one that Hi Five really needed.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to stop the push for the moment. Now the question is, can they find something on the back of this? That's where the importance is going to be. As Yankee will drop down the Wrath Terror, the fight coming out. Unrelinquished, bursting down Kosher Bacon, teleport coming in from Melchkrud, looking to join this fight up, but will he be in time to actually turn this one back around? Charge Spray will not connect, but lurking in the waters. Going to actually be just used to escape. In the back line, though, Gilly has arrived in this fight. He's going to take a lot of damage, forced to Unchained out to safety.
Yeah, Matheria is still looking to die this tower with his low health pool as well. It's not really going to work, but it will at least force Hi Five away. Don't really do too much, but hey, they picked up one kill. They only traded Kosher Bacon's life, but that's their wave clear. That's a significant portion of defending a tower, and they fall away rightly so.
Yeah, tier 2 left lane falls. Vesalius will be respawning, joining the team back up in just a moment. Gold Fury is the next target on the board for Yomi, as they're going to clean that one up. El Berchacho's nearby. Might be thinking about going for the steal. It'll be a nice chunk of gold for his team. There's the blink. There's the Wrath of the Gods for it, and he will secure that extra little bit of gold for his team. However, his life may not end up getting out of here intact, as Gilly will clean up that kill. It's 1,500 gold. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wait, he's now 08 and 5. He was 07 and 5 before that. So his death was worth next to nothing. But it's the death timer on him, right? And he secured a bunch of XP and gold for his team. Just something back in their pockets, something that they can start to make use of. Potentially a beads too. That's just come out of New Wash. She's just picked that one up.
Right there in the backline right now, zoning out Kosher Bacon. Grishank is up in the air. If they look for initiation right here, as you said, it will only be a 4v5, 3v5 as map positioning. Nantan's over in that left lane right now. Kosher Baking will survive. Grishank will survive as well, so that worked out for them. But they lost into the tier 2 tower. Right side tier 2 in the side of Yomi right now. Their gold lead is now built up over 10,000 gold. And it's about to get a little larger.
Fire Giant shouldn't be too far off falling off of these guys as well, so they've now got to start being a little bit more careful with what they're doing. And of course, Vesalius doesn't even have it at the moment. But what they can do from the side of Hi Five, they can send somebody to this left lane. It can be Apollo or it can be Thor. It's just whoever is in a better position to be able to do this at any point in time. Apollo's always going to be able to push harder, and he's going to be able to engage harder, but the problem is getting him there to a fight when he's so much of their damage, right? Thor, at least, is not a huge portion of this at the moment. He's struggling to get tanky. He's struggling to stay alive long enough to get through a full chain of Berserker Barrage, but having him over in this left-hand side, they can't push it out, and he knew that, and that's why he backed off.
I think the problem with that is going to be the fact that basically any single person on Yomi can look to defend against Nantan's split push and not really affect the team fight of Yomi in that large of regard. Unrelinquished gets locked down in the range of spears, crack and drop, trying to save his own life. Whirlpool as well, he's doing good to hold on, but he's not likely to survive for much longer. He barely survived, but the charge break from Elchby will secure that one finally. Gilly and Mathera now in the back line of this fight, looking to basically just secure the life. Nantan across the sky as that chariot of fire did not arrive quickly enough.
Just crashing on the ground, and El Berchacho's been caught out by Matt Yankee as well. Nuwa is going to be focused down on towards. That's Kosher Bacon surely going down. Matheria will secure that one. And at least Berchacho is going to get out of here, and Thor is going to secure himself an attack speed buff. Good job, Thor.
Yomi just waiting for this fire giant to respawn. It's a little early still, guys. You got 15 seconds on that timer before he pops back up. Nevertheless, they have control of this side of the map. El Berchacho kind of waiting nearby. They don't know the exact time, but they're going in for the kill on him. There's the lunge bird bomb on out of there. The pull back in. Vesalius finds that kill. That means Wrath of the Gods, one of the three, I should say, Wrath of the Gods down. Both members of Hi Five with it, looking for the steal nearby. Let's see if they can do it.
Oh, it's going to be all down to El Berchacho, but of course with him dead. What Hog 3s have they got? They've at least got El Japu, they've at least got Grishank. What can they do with this one? Grishank's taken to the sky, and rightly so, the disengage from Yomi. The focus on towards El Japu. They're going to burn through him. He's going to be the one to go down. Lurking in the waters is out, so at least he's not going to be chained up. And Matheria secures that one, and Grishank is just forced to try and get the heck out of here, but Unrelinquished just takes care of him. Yep,
that's all three Wrath of the Gods down. El Berchachos just came back up as he respawned. Unfortunately, he is still all the way across the map. Yomi will secure the second fire giant of the match and are now looking to start to close this one out. 25-minute mark just about to come up right now. Kosher Bacon, Whirlpool dropped on down, going to go open those fire shards, but going to arrive back on the ground to a very displeased Yomi lineup who are about to end her life in a very, very quick... It just bought her 2 seconds. But it was just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, it was. I mean, now they're going to lose this Phoenix. There's nothing El Berchacho can do except a ring of spears, and they're still going to take that Phoenix with or without him. Nantan really can't do much. He's trying to. He's just gotten the Executioner online. It's a little bit too little too late for a Hi Five. 25 minutes is not a part-time by any means for the course for an Executioner, and this is probably going to be all 3 Phoenixes cleared up because they've got sustain on the side of the Yomi.
They'd love to have Kosher Bacon alive right now. El Chapu gets pulled in by Matt Yankee. The damage coming on him right now is huge. They need to start a fight now as they're about to lose their soul laner. He does fall. It's a 3 versus 5 defense at this left lane Phoenix, but they're not really going to be able to commit to this one right now. Verdant Grasp from Matt Yankee not going to connect. He's taking up that Phoenix in the back line. Going to be forced to drop that finally as it will fall. Gilly gets hit by that Clay Soldier stun combo, but his health bar didn't really move.
Nope, absolutely not. He's so damn tanky. He's got a Runeforged hammer. He's got a Heart Ward amulet. He is just... He can do whatever the heck he wants. If he wants to dive your Titan and your Fountain and kill you all there, sure. He's probably going to go damn close to doing it. Oh my god, 31-7. 38 kills, sorry, in this game. Already at 25 minutes. Just more than a kill a minute for Yomi.
And 2.5 minutes still on the Fire Giant. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. I looked at the timer a little while ago. So Yomi very much still have the time to close this game out here before that buff falls off. Only the Titan stands between that and victory. And this will secure them into first seed for Group A, guys, going into next week. It could be a nice little boon, depending exactly how Group B works out. Possibly a pause coming here in a moment. Kosher Bacon did disconnect during that respawn timer. For now, it looks like not quite going to go that route. There's a surrender road actually coming out, and it will go through. So it is going to be Yomi taking first place and first seed overall for Group A of the North American Challenger Cup. High Five lost to these guys 2 times in a row. There's still a potential they could face each other next week, depending on exactly how the grand finals work out. But for now, at least, Yomi found them good players going into the final week.
Yeah, and they're going to go into the final week undefeated in the group stage. There's only one other team so far in North America that can say that, and that's COG Crusaders. And there is no way now that Yomi will face COG Crusaders in that last week of things. There's no way in the best of fives that they can face off against each other. Unless COG Crusaders make a huge throw today and lose a couple games and seed themselves in a second. That's like the only way that can really happen.
But these guys can face off against each other next week. If they both win their respective semifinals, they'll see each other in the finals.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well there you go. I'm glad you're the regular here.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I may be half asleep most of the time, but occasionally I know something about some particular thing that may be happening next week in the future. I don't know. Nevertheless, guys.
I missed that memo.
Nevertheless, guys, that's going to wrap things up for Group A for North America. We're moving on to Group B here in just a few moments. We're going to see which game exactly we're going to jump on to that one. We got to just double check what exactly is going to be the important games to watch and make sure to bring you those exact ones. So stick around. We'll be back with those matches in just a few minutes.